Here we are in Melbourne at the Australian Open after the great win by Roger Federer, 18 slam,
Yep.
and with Ben Rothenberg, New York Times, old friend and colleague, best Twitter man of the world, only 56,000 followers.
51.
Oh,
don't be exaggerating.
No, okay. Well, the Federer of the Twitter. So anyway, tell me, I mean, were you expecting such a final? Because my fear was that, okay, two great champions, but who knows how the final will be.
I think that I was not convinced we would have a great final for sure. I didn't know what to expect exactly. I wouldn't have been surprised by anything. I thought that Federer was playing better than Nadal through the first 6 matches. And so, but I know that this is an awful matchup for Rafa. So I thought, for Roger. So I thought anything could happen for sure. And I guess this was a reasonable scenario. I did not think though that if it went deep into a 5th set that Roger would be able to be the one lasting at the end.
Especially when he was down 2-love and 3-1.
3-1, yeah, for sure. And so I think that it was, what was impressive to me about it was that it was Rafael Nadal was made to play on Roger Federer's pace.
Yeah.
It was a fast match for Nadal. It took them only 2 hours and 37 minutes to get to a 5th set. And usually Nadal takes 4 hours to get to a 5th set.
Yeah.
And he plays very slow, very deliberate. But Federer kept the pace up and was playing well with the backhand. And Rafa was not his best, for sure. No. Rafa, especially on the forehand, was not at his best tonight. But Roger did well and didn't let Nadal get into those patterns that usually work so well for him.
Yeah, I was expecting more top spin played and lift.
Exactly.
Like
always.
On the backhand of Federer, while the ball was always coming close to the
the hip,
the hip, which was the best thing for Federer.
Yeah.
I mean, and so that was a tactical error, in my opinion, by Nadal. While Federer was clever to not slice as he usually does much for backhand. He did always those sort of flat backhand, and that was the key.
And the faster court here probably helped him too. I mean, it played pretty fast tonight.
Yeah.
Certainly more than Australia in 2009. Let's say. And most hard courts they play on. So it was a good, and certainly all the clay court matches they've had. And it's true that Federer, part of the reason the head-to-head is so bad for Federer is that a lot of their matches have been on clay. So it's good for him to
still he has lost
on
other courts.
Of course. No, he's lost in Cincinnati, he's lost in Indian Wells, he's lost in Miami.
All the finals, all the Slam finals since 2007 in Wimbledon, he lost them all. I mean, six finals.
Yeah. No, I mean, he'd only won 2 of the 8 finals previously.
Yeah,
so he was losing
in Wimbledon, and they were 2006 and 2007. So since 10 years, he hadn't beaten Nadal in a final of a Slam.
But I think the actual reason that Federer was able to get across the line, Federer played well, he played he played consistently well through the whole tournament, but the reason he was able to escape this match with a win, I think, was more about Rafa not being at his best, not being as clear about his tactics, like you said, as usual, and the matchup just wasn't as bad for Roger as it usually is.
Yes, and then, Federer comes out as a winner in a Slam, is number 18, which is the first one where he plays and wins 3 matches best of 5 on the 5th set.
That's very rare.
Yeah.
That's very rare for anybody to do that. And he beat 4 top 10 guys.
Yes, also something
that's
that
incredible.
Didn't happen since 1982 when Mats Wilander did that in Roland Garros.
Pretty good stat.
Prepared.
Yeah, very good. I never doubt that. I never doubt that. No, but I mean, it was a great run for him.
And I remember Wilander doing it because I was there. You weren't probably born.
No,
but I was there. I remember even Wilander.
It's a big surprise that Wilander won that tournament.
Yeah. He beat Clerc in the semi-final, and he wanted to replay the match point which the umpire had given to him. And he said, "No, the ball was out. I don't want to win on this was the semi-final match point." And he beat Clerc, and then he beat Villas in the final, which was all lobs and a very boring match, completely different from the one of tonight.
I'm glad I wasn't born.
Okay. Anyway, Ben. So what are we expecting now? The year 2017. Nadal will be the favorite in Roland Garros. Djokovic and Murray are not dead. They're still alive.
I am not willing to say that right away that Nadal. It's all about Djokovic for me. How the rest of this year plays out, because Djokovic, I think, still. If everybody's at the best of their game, I think Djokovic is still the best with everyone at their age right now. But Djokovic has just been in this weird drought, and he looked very flat in that match against Istomin. But he has time to come back, and he's done very well in the past
Yeah.
in the tournaments in Indian Wells and Miami.
Yeah.
So it's a good place for him to get some momentum back potentially, and take some time off and just sort of refine himself or whatever. But I don't think it's so easy that say, oh, Nadal's back, he's going to win the French Open. I think for Nadal, this result in terms of slams came a bit out of nowhere. I mean, it was his first final in 10 slams, something like that.
Yeah,
since
2014.
Right, so 14 French Open. So I think that it's a good result for him, but I don't think it changes the whole year. I'm not saying Federer's going to be #1 this year, then Nadal's #2. I don't think I'm not getting carried away. Well, Murray and Djokovic are still the top 2 by a lot on the rankings, and I think in tennis too, and we'll see how they go. But it was an incredible slam. I mean, in terms of starting the year off on the right note, it was a much more exciting start than we ever could have hoped for.
Yeah.
Both men's and women's, I think, honestly, getting the Venus and Serena final, which especially as an American, we're very excited about, and getting it was the top 2. It was the most slam. Sorry, the most. I don't know how to phrase this, but the 2 people who won the most slams on each tour.
Yeah.
#1, Federer at 17. #2,
now 18.
Now 18, and #2 Nadal at 14 on the women's. #1 Serena at 22, and Venus is #2 of active players at 7.
Yeah.
So it couldn't have been better from that front in terms of getting the big legacy players in the final. It sets up a great year. It's going to be a hard bar to pass in terms of this Australian Open. I think it's the best slam in terms of results, the most exciting that I've covered in my 5-6 years of doing this. So
yeah, I've done a little more. 43,
a little more.
43,
but how does it compare to you? In terms of these 2 matchups in the final?
Yeah.
And just this match, where does it compare for you in your history?
Yeah,
Are you getting carried away with it?
Well, I remember
Federer-Nadal
2008. We had the same four players playing the finals.
But they hadn't won as much back then.
No. Of course they couldn't. I mean,
of course
they were too young.
But they were both. But that's the thing. They were both in 2008. They were both at the peak of their powers.
Yeah.
Pretty much. This time they were not. They were both past their prime.
No, nobody could expect.
They
were not expecting themselves.
No, they were ranked #9 and 17. So it's quite a surprise, a pleasant surprise, and I think people in tennis all seem very energized and very happy about this.
Yes,
results.
I'm very happy. I think honestly, it may sound rhetorical, but tennis tonight won. I mean, more than Federer, more than Nadal. I mean, for tennis was a great evening, great tournament.
People spending thousands and thousands of dollars to be in the stadium tonight. It shows you how good this is for the sport.
Yeah. Okay. So, follow Ben Rothenberg on his tweets because
follow Ubi Tennis.
And see you soon. And I don't know where, but always following
Rome.
the yellow ball.
Rome,
for sure. Monte Carlo. I'm going to Monte Carlo.
I'm not going to Monaco. I don't think.
Okay.
Roma.
All right. Bye from Melbourne. By Brian Rothenberg, New York Times, and myself.
Arrivederci.
Ciao.